People who witnessed workplace romances implode publicly what happened. I worked at this mid-sized insurance office where everyone acted like they were starring in their own dull sitcom, and the highlight of the year was when the coffee machine got upgraded. Then came the couple, Mia from accounting and Jason from sales. They started dating quietly at first, whispering in hallways and leaving at staggered times like they were in some undercover spy romance. But the office was mostly women who could somehow detect romantic activity through drywall, so it wasn't a secret for long. For the first few months, they were that annoyingly perfect couple. He brought her lunch. She left little drawings on his desk. They coordinated outfits by accident, but everyone knew it wasn't an accident. The office loved them. They were the closest we had to celebrities. Then came the implosion. Apparently, Jason got caught texting his ex nothing explicit but enough to plant a nuclear-grade seed of rage in Mia. She didn't confront him at home like a normal person. Nope. She waited for Monday morning when everyone was caffeinated, cranky, and emotionally vulnerable. Mia stormed onto the floor at exactly 9:03 a.m., slammed a stack of printed text messages on Jason's desk and yelled, "Oh, so it meant nothing," loud enough that the CEO 2 floors up probably spilled his tea. Jason froze like a raccoon caught in a spotlight. Everyone around went dead silent except this guy, Tim, who whispered, "Oh, hell yeah," and leaned back in his chair like the world's worst referee. Mia grabbed a stapler off his desk and dramatically declared, "You know what? You can keep your stupid stapler. You probably cheated with that too." Then she whipped it across the floor. It slid under HR's office door like it was reporting itself. Jason tried to calm her down, but Mia was already unlocking the final phase of her meltdown. She walked to the main printer, and printed 50 copies of Jason's messages. Then she posted them around the office like missing cat posters. By noon, the entire building was reading Jason's greatest hits, including my personal favorite, "I mean, yeah, I miss how she cooked, but it's not like that matters." The fallout was legendary. HR banned inter-office dating for 6 months. They tried to remove all the message copies, but more kept popping up like gremlins after midnight. Jason transferred departments. Mia quit dramatically, announcing, "I deserve a stapler that doesn't lie to me," on her way out every time someone prints something. Now we all glance at the machine like it's haunted by their relationship. Honestly, best day of my entire corporate life. I used to work at this restaurant where every Thursday we had employee karaoke night after closing. It was supposed to build camaraderie, but mostly it built trauma. 2 servers, Laura and Ben, were dating at the time. They were cute together in that we met in a walk-in freezer kind of way. Well, one night Laura picked a breakup song, Before He Cheats, and everyone cheered because she always nailed it. But halfway through, she changed the lyrics, and not subtle changes. I mean, she was calling Ben out by name in front of the whole staff instead of, "Maybe next time he'll think before he cheats," she belted. "Maybe next time Ben won't text his ex at 3. Everyone froze. The cook literally stopped mid-chop. Ben looked like he had been unplugged. Laura kept going. She had verses prepared. She exposed everything, the Snapchat messages, the deleted photos, even how he told the ex she still smelled the same. The room went from karaoke night to live execution. Ben tried to grab the mic, but she dodged him and kept singing like Beyoncé possessed by pure chaos. It ended with Laura throwing the mic into a bucket of soapy water and walking out like a queen reclaiming her kingdom. Ben tried to go after her, but slipped on a lemon wedge and fell on his back. The bartender said, "Symbolic," and we all nodded. The next day, both fired. Would I trade the experience? Absolutely not. I will tell that story when I'm 90. 2 managers, Sarah and Tom, started dating secretly. They tried to pretend they weren't, but she started wearing his hoodies to work, and he started quoting her in every meeting like she was the Buddha of middle management. Eventually, the office split into 2 groups. Team Sarah, mostly women who adored her and thought Tom was punching up Team Tom. Mostly dudes who liked Tom's chill management style and wanted Sarah to stop forcing everyone to use color-coded spreadsheets. It became like Office Game of Thrones. People took sides in passive-aggressive ways, sharing snacks with only their team copying the other manager's staff on emails as accidents, and swapping meeting rooms last minute just to annoy each other. Then Sarah found out Tom had been recommending people from his team for promotions without discussing it with her. She stormed into the weekly meeting with a binder full of receipts. Tom denied everything until she produced exact timestamps, email logs, and 2 witnesses. The breakup happened in front of the entire staff mid-meeting. At one point, Tom yelled, "You're not my supervisor," and Sarah yelled back, "In this meeting, I literally am." HR tried to intervene, but eventually admitted defeat. Both managers were transferred. The office went silent for 3 days like it was recovering from a natural disaster. To this day, people still identify as former Team Sarah or former Team Tom. It's basically Hogwarts houses but fueled by corporate pettiness. This one still makes me laugh. 2 co-workers, Mark and Tessa, were dating quietly until Mark committed the most unforgivable workplace sin. He microwaved fish in the office kitchen. It stank up the entire floor. People were gagging. Someone put in an anonymous complaint. HR sent out a company-wide email titled "Microwave Etiquette Reminder." Instead of owning up, Mark blamed another coworker in a group chat saying, "Tessa says only gross people microwave fish at work." Except he didn't send it to just his friends. He sent it to the entire office, including Tessa, including HR, including the person he had blamed. Tessa replied, "Mark, it was literally you." Someone else wrote, "We all saw you, bro." Then a third person added a photo of Mark carrying the fish like it was evidence in a crime drama. Tessa dumped him in the reply chain with, "I can't date someone who lies about fish." He took 2 weeks off. The microwave was replaced. No one microwaves fish anymore. The office remains safe. During a mandatory fire drill, we all had to evacuate the building and stand in the parking lot while the safety officer took attendance like we were in high school. Well, that's when Amanda and Kyle chose to have the biggest, loudest breakup I've ever witnessed. Apparently, Kyle had been flirting with a new intern. Amanda found out 5 minutes before the drill and decided, yes, the parking lot is the perfect battlefield. They screamed at each other while hundreds of employees stood in awkward circles pretending not to listen. Kyle insisted, "We can talk later," and Amanda shouted, "There might not be a later if this drill were real, Kyle." At one point, she threw his security badge onto the asphalt and yelled, "Find yourself out of this building on Monday." The safety officer whispered, "That's not how badges work," but no one cared. Kyle tried to pick up the badge, but it shattered when a forklift rolled over it because the warehouse guys were also evacuating. Amanda yelled, "See, even the universe agrees." HR had to escort them to opposite sides of the parking lot. People filmed, people placed bets, people got popcorn from the cafeteria. By the end of the drill, they were both suspended. But honestly, best fire drill of my life. I used to work at this medium-sized insurance office where everything looked boring on the outside, but inside it was basically a dollar store reality TV show with cubicles. And the main characters were Jake and Melissa, 2 mid-level analysts who everyone knew were dating even though they tried way too hard to pretend they weren't. Their whole vibe was like watching 2 teenagers try to hide a relationship from their parents while simultaneously making out under the bleachers. They would coincidentally take breaks at the same time, accidentally grab each other's lunch from the fridge, and whisper so loudly in meeting rooms that even the interns could hear every word. The thing is, they weren't supposed to be dating because Melissa was technically Jake's team lead, and HR had some strict rule about supervisors not dating subordinates. But since nobody wanted to deal with the drama, everyone just silently agreed to pretend we didn't know. Then one day, God bless corporate incompetence, Jake got moved to another team, which meant they were suddenly allowed to be official, and they took that as a sign to become the most nauseating office couple to ever exist. Matching sweaters on casual Fridays, leaving post-it notes shaped like hearts on each other's monitors. Jake once tried to microwave a giant chocolate fondue fountain for Melissa's birthday lunch and set off the smoke alarms. But then everything fell apart spectacularly one Monday morning. Jake walked into the office looking like he hadn't slept in a week, and Melissa stormed in 20 minutes later with dark sunglasses on like she was trying to go incognito. Everyone braced themselves because we all recognized the universal scent of something catastrophic happened this weekend. The tension actually felt thick enough to chew. Around noon, we heard yelling coming from the break room. Not raised voices, yelling. Like, I need noise-canceling headphones to emotionally survive this level yelling. So of course the entire office pretended to look for snacks while eavesdropping. Melissa was accusing Jake of betrayal of the deepest kind, and Jake kept repeating, "I swear it wasn't like that." Then she announced loudly enough that I'm convinced the neighboring building heard that she discovered Jake had been texting his ex, not cheating physically, but emotionally enough that HR probably felt the ripple in the space-time continuum. She pulled out printed screenshots. She actually printed them on company paper on the shared printer like a goddamn warrior, and started slamming them onto the counter one by one, like she was dealing tarot cards predicting his doom. Jake tried to grab them, she smacked his hand, and then he knocked over the communal coffee pot, which shattered and splashed hot coffee all over their shoes. Making the whole thing even more dramatic, Melissa yelled, "This is exactly why my mother didn't like you." And Jake shouted back, "Your mother kept calling me Chad." His name is not Chad. By this point, supervisors rushed in not to stop the fight, but to avoid being legally responsible for the psychological damage occurring in front of the fridge. HR dragged them into a private room, but we could still hear everything because the walls were basically made of tissue paper and wishful thinking. The HR lady kept saying, "Please lower your voices," like she was chanting a prayer for mercy. Melissa kept crying, Jake kept swearing, and at one point someone said, "I can't believe you ate the donuts I bought for us during our fight," which honestly felt like the emotional climax of the entire saga. They were in that room for 2 hours. 2 hours. When they came out, Melissa quit on the spot, grabbed all her desk plants like she was rescuing them from a burning building, and stormed out without saying goodbye. Jake stayed, but he clearly wasn't okay. He spent the next 2 weeks eating exclusively vending machine pretzels and staring into the void. People would ask him simple questions like, "Did you finish that report?" And he'd just sigh as though they asked him to relive the breakup. HR eventually banned interoffice relationships entirely, which was hilarious because everyone knew their rule only changed because Jake and Melissa treated the break room like an episode of Jerry Springer Corporate Edition. And the funniest part, 3 months later, they got back together and announced it on Facebook, where Melissa posted, "Sometimes you have to break something to rebuild it stronger." Meanwhile, everyone at work was still recovering from PTSD flashbacks every time someone microwaved coffee. To this day, that remains the most unhinged workplace romance implosion I have ever seen, and I still can't look at the break room without imagining someone slamming printed screenshots like holy scripture. I used to work at a small smoothie shop where 2 coworkers, Tina and Marco, started secretly dating. Except secretly meant everyone knew because they were absolutely terrible at hiding things. They'd disappear into the storage room for suspiciously long inventory checks, giggle over the blender noise, and write each other the most painfully cringy notes on the whiteboard. Mango Tango at 8. It was like watching 2 teenagers trapped in adult bodies. Anyway, one day, Tina gets it into her head that Marco is cheating because he laughed too hard at a female customer's joke. I'm talking banshee-level meltdown brewing beneath the surface. But she's holding it in until the worst possible moment. It's Saturday rush hour. We've got a line out the door. The blender is screaming, the register is freezing, and everyone's sweating. Marco is making a strawberry smoothie when Tina storms up, grabs the blender lid off mid-blend, and shrieks, "Are you laughing at her the way you laugh at me?" The blender explodes. Pink smoothie everywhere. On the walls, on the ceiling, on people's faces, on babies. I'm pretty sure someone's service dog got hit by flying strawberry chunks. The entire store dead silent except Tina, who is now yelling about emotional workplace disrespect and intimacy betrayal. Marco, covered head to toe in smoothie, tries to talk, but she slams a handful of strawberries on the counter like she's playing Uno and screaming, "Draw 4, you liar." Customers start filming. One kid yells, "World Star." Long story short, management fired both of them. We closed early to clean literal fruit off the ceiling tiles, and the video went semi-viral on TikTok as "a smoothie breakup." To this day, anytime I hear a blender, my fight or flight activates. At my old accounting job, two coworkers, Derek and Allison, had a secret office romance that wasn't a secret at all. They always walked in exactly 90 seconds apart, went to lunch together by coincidence, and constantly whispered like cartoon villains. Then Allison finds out Derek's been texting his ex at night. Instead of confronting him directly, she decides to destroy him using the most accountant-friendly method possible: whiteboard sabotage every morning. She'd quietly erase tiny parts of the communal whiteboard: the minus signs, the decimal points, the dates on invoices, the labels on pie charts. Every spreadsheet review turned into a mathematical nightmare. Derek kept fixing things and muttering, "I swear I filled this in," like he was losing his mind. After a week, she escalates. She starts erasing random letters from memos until sentences read like ransom notes. She deleted all the S's from a schedule, so the entire document looked like a drunk pirate wrote it. Derek finally caught on when she erased only the X in expense report, so it read Pence report, and he shouted, "All right, this is sabotage," to the entire office. They ended up screaming in the break room in front of everyone, accusing each other of unprofessional emotional misconduct. HR had to step in. Someone brought popcorn. Both got written up. The whiteboard got locked in a supply closet. We all got a stern email about marker misuse, office morale sky high for months. This one happened at a family-owned steakhouse I worked at. Jared and Melissa, both servers, were dating. They were one of those overly intense PDA in the walk-in fridge, my soulmate after 3 weeks couples. One night, during a packed dinner service, Melissa overhears another server mention that Jared had been flirting with customers to increase tips. She snaps. Full Greek tragedy level meltdown activated. She marches straight onto the dining floor during the dinner rush, slams her tray down so hard a baked potato rolls into a customer's lap, points at Jared across the restaurant, and yells, "You may be able to impress them with your fake smile, but you can't fool me." The entire room goes silent. Forks freeze midair. Children turn around in their booster seats. Jared, holding a tray of steaks, tries to play it cool. "Melissa, not now. Melissa, not now, not now. Oh, okay, let me just email my pain to your work schedule." She starts listing every wrong thing he ever did, including things we definitely didn't need to know, like their role-play disaster night. Customers are covering their kids' ears. A man at table 6 whispers, "This is better than my HBO subscription." Management finally physically separates them. Jared accidentally drops an entire plate of ribs during the chaos. Both quit a week later. They got back together a month later, then broke up again, then got engaged, then broke up again. It was like watching a romantic comedy written by Stephen King. At a tech startup, our HR manager Lila started dating the newest developer, Connor. She insisted the relationship was professional, but we all noticed how performance reviews suddenly ended with giggling and blushing. The irony? Lila was the one who wrote our no fraternization policy. They thought they were being sneaky. They were not. Things imploded when Connor accidentally sent a love note meant for Lila to the entire HR internal mailing list, including the CEO, including legal, including the very compliance officer who helped write the no dating policy. The message: a horrifyingly sappy and weirdly poetic paragraph about how she inspires his workflow and debugs his heart. People printed it, people memed it, someone screenshotted it and turned it into a desktop wallpaper. Lila panicked, called an emergency HR meeting, and tried to explain it away as a creative writing exercise. No one bought it. They were both investigated. Connor got transferred. She got demoted. Their relationship ended 2 months later when Connor fell for someone in IT, which she had to help on board. The universe has a sense of humor. I worked in a storage warehouse where two coworkers, Pete and Angela, were dating. They bonded over energy drinks, nicotine gum, and complaining about management. A match made in chaotic heaven. One day, Angela finds out Pete has been flirting with a cashier from a gas station. She goes full scorched earth. During a routine shift, Pete is driving the forklift, stacking pallets, when Angela storms in like she's entering the WWE ring. She climbs onto the forklift, screaming, "Tell the whole warehouse what you told her about my cooking." Pete panics. Forklift jerks. An entire pallet of paper towels crashes down like a snowy avalanche of shame. Angela keeps yelling as coworkers scatter. The supervisor is yelling about OSHA violations. Someone is filming. Someone else is laughing so hard they fall behind a pallet. Pete tries to escape, but Angela keeps chasing him between aisles like a cartoon. At one point, she throws a roll of bubble wrap at him and yells, "You're emotionally fragile just like this." Management breaks it up. Both get suspended. They break up. They get back together. They break up again. And then they both quit to work at the same gas station, the one with the cashier he flirted with. Peak warehouse drama, peak humanity.